Man, what's up, everybody? This is Life,
What it do, y'all? It's your boy Swallow.
and this is Just Do the Damn Thing podcast.
Do the damn thing, do the damn thing, yeah. Do the damn thing, do the damn thing, yeah. Do the damn thing, do my damn thing. I'ma do my damn thing. I'ma do my damn thing.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Just Do the Damn Thing podcast. We're still sitting there trying to get everything correct in here, trying to get the damn thing right. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. I hope you guys like the topic for today. Suelo, what is the topic of the day?
Yes, sir. So this one it's a good one because it sounds very simple, but you can interpret it in so many different ways. So that's why I like it. We can share our different interpretations. But today's topic is human potential capable of anything? So I'll pass it off to you. How do you want to answer that?
So you can answer that two different ways. I can say yes in this way. So yes, we're capable of anything when it comes to the sense of anything that's realistic. So anything that's if you're trying to get a goal of like money wise, you're trying to reach a money goal, you are capable. Anybody is capable of getting that goal. You just have to make the right decisions on reaching that goal. Anybody is capable of of reading or of doing different things, depending on obviously if you can see and everything like that. But if you're able-bodied, we're talking about able-bodied people, because there's people that can't see or can't hear. But doing anything, you're capable of, swimming, capable of working out, capable of eating correctly, capable of getting your finances correct, getting right with God, leading your family to a better place. Everybody's capable of being disciplined.
Yeah,
They can do
there you go.
exactly. Everybody's capable of being disciplined. Everybody is capable. There's so many things that we're capable of doing. Everybody's capable of making their own decisions. Everybody's capable of getting on a plane or train or a boat, to do whatever you guys want to go. Anybody's able to travel. So there's everybody can follow the laws correctly. So there's so many things that we're able to do that are, that are realistic to what our system is at the moment.
Right.
So whatever our goals are, whatever things may be, if you're trying to rap, anybody could be a rapper if you work at it. Anybody can learn to sing. But it takes certain people longer than others, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're not capable or you
Yeah.
can't reach that potential goal or whatever. But then you can interpret this the other way, where I'm thinking like, no, we're not capable of doing anything, is because it's like we can't we're not capable of having superpowers. We're not capable of blasting
Right.
stuff out of our eyes like freaking Superman and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not
Flying.
flying, walking through walls and all this kind of stuff. We're not, we're capable of killing somebody, but we shouldn't. So I mean, so that
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we should be doing stuff like
Right.
that. We're not capable of teleportation or reading people's minds.
Okay, now I'm glad that you were bringing that up. Not telekinesis, but being telepathic.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting field of study because it's actually been studied by the CIA and various governments since like the 70s, 60s, and they have come up with some crazy like results in these experiments where being telepathic, they've like kind of proven it to be real. Like you have to train people a certain way and it takes a long time to master, but you can somewhat be telepathic.
See, in my looking at stuff like that, I don't think there's a capable way of actually being telepathic, like actually giving someone your thoughts or lifting things with your mind or stuff like that.
Right.
I think it's more of you're capable of training yourself to having a better intuition on what may happen. So just like a boxer, right? you're not capable of knowing for a fact that he's going to throw a right hand.
Right.
But you train yourself to believe that that's the case, depending on what stance they're in, depending on how their shoulder moves at a certain time, depending on the lead step that they do.
Right.
So you're capable of imagining, because you've been training yourself for so long, that that
Yeah.
may be the case. So I believe that's the same thing with telepathy, where they're saying that they're capable of training people of doing certain things. I think they're just capable of training somebody to believe that something may happen depending on cues from people. So it's more of a psychology thing,
Right. I
more
see
than
that. I see that.
telepathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah.
But
No, which I could see that too. I wish I had more of those experiments for you, but it's just trippy. You know what I mean? The experiments that
I've
they
seen
brought
some
about
of
and
I've
how
seen some of
accurate they
them.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, I can't explain it, but it's definitely a field to like to study. I feel like was it Einstein that said that once we start to study the paranormal, that's when we'll actually start to get ahead in science, rather than studying just like the everyday physical matter, mundane things that, you know, has been around forever. You know, once we study the paranormal, he says that's when we'll really get real scientific breakthroughs.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, science is just a study of something, and then when you think of outside of the box things, whether it be paranormal or just thinking differently on a different aspect on how things can come together, that's when you're going to break through. It's like not thinking of the exact same things that we're thinking of all the time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
come at it from an angle that nobody, so left field, that you
Mm-hmm.
may actually stumble upon something that you've never
Yeah,
thought you would stumble
exactly.
upon. So
Yep.
I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you also talked about, you know, if you're able to see and things like that. I was seeing this thing um where what's his name? Oh, Elon Musk, his company Neuralink is like almost like ready to put chips in people's brains. Have you been seeing that?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen like the any of the articles that
Yeah.
came out or anything like that.
So, you know, so a way to answer this question too is like, you know, is human potential capable of anything? Is like, okay, is a human able to get his vision back, you know, after losing it or being born blind, right? Is a human able to see? It's like naturally, who's to say, right? Like, as far as we know, no. But now we got people like Elon Musk wanting to put chips in people's brains that's going to give people's vision.
You know what my theory or my thinking about that
Uh-huh.
is, I believe we're capable of doing so much more once we are capable of not using anything for destruction any longer.
Right.
When our focus is on the people and our
Mm-hmm.
focus is on moving things forward as a people, we would
Mm-hmm.
have a lot more people, or we would have a lot more scientists and people doing things for the correct reason, rather
Mm-hmm.
than people that exploit science to prove something that they feel.
Right. And
If.
that's what most governments do with their military, is they use the science to improve their military. Like, that's all they really care about. Is like, how can
Exact.
we get a bigger, stronger military to protect our country, or even invade other countries and take their resources and things like that. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
once we get away from, as a whole, as a human race, once we get away from trying to build things to go to war with each other and focus on only healing each other,
Mm-hmm.
like, and putting the billions of dollars that we do in military into billions of dollars into the things that
Healthcare.
healthcare and all those things, and
Mm-hmm.
people would want to go into the science field more often,
Yeah.
because they won't, some people won't feel like they're tainting themselves because they're sitting there doing a science that just potentially can just harm everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just like solar, that whole situation, solar can become a whole lot better. We have enough resources for everybody here. It's just also, the thing is greed, right? if we
Oh yeah.
if we were not greedy, and we all had, like, let's just say, a similar frame of living, a house or whatever, and you can only own a certain amount of things, and you'd be okay with that, and
Right.
nobody is just like always wanting more and more and more.
Yeah,
And
and that just depends on each individual, though. You know what I mean?
yeah,
When is somebody satisfied? When has somebody had enough?
exact.
You know?
And a lot of people are never satisfied.
Uh
And
huh.
then the ones that are satisfied are the ones that don't push anything forward either, because they're staying stagnant and they're not trying to grow a lot of the time. Not all the
Yeah.
time, but a lot of
Yeah.
times. So it's like, so people are just like, I'm cool with chilling in this hut, and I'm
Hmm.
chilling here. I'm eating off the land and blah 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 blah. But then you never push science forward because you don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
But if you have the correct balance, and you're
Hmm.
trying to push forward health, because that's
Hmm.
the only thing that we should be pushing, to
Yeah,
me
that
personally.
should be
if
the
if
most important one for sure.
Exactly, if we're only pushing the health situation and loving thy brother as thyself, and that's the only thing we worry about, we would be eons ahead, because none of us would be focused on, oh crap, I gotta build something to defend myself.
Hmm.
Oh snap, we have this political party over here thinking this, and this political party thinking that. If
Hmm.
we get away from political parties altogether and just think that, you are a human being, I want you to be healthy regardless
Hmm.
of if we oppose indifferences, if we don't think the same.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, the only thing that we should think is like, I want to make sure I can help you do whatever you want to do, and you can
Hmm.
help me do whatever I want to do, as long as we're not hurting anyone else.
Hmm.
um but that's just my take on it.
No, I agree with that 100%. And then, so back to answer the question, is human potential capable of anything? I would say yes. Same thing as what you said. As far as in this lifetime, because
Yeah,
again, if you know me, I believe we're spirits inhabiting human bodies. I feel like we're
yeah,
all spirits. We come from God. We're children of God. Right now, we're experiencing the human experience, and
yeah.
then eventually, I believe in reincarnation. I feel you'll reincarnate into something else, and then if you keep going on the path to God, you're gonna eventually reincarnate to something that's damn near God. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Which
especially if you just believe the fact that we are all just made up of energy, and every energy never
exactly.
dies; it just transfers.
Hmm.
So reincarnation would be energy transferring into something
Exactly.
else.
And that's exactly
Um,
what it is. And
yeah,
and then so to answer that is like yes, and but we can't we can't reach our ultimate potential unless we put God first. And I feel like that's kind of goes with what you were saying, is that people are wanting to go to war with each other and to harm each other, get one over on somebody.
yeah, yeah,
We're not going to fully evolve and reach our full potential until we put God first. That means serving God, make everything that we do comes from a pure heart. Everything we
hmm,
do comes with pure intentions. We want to better ourselves, better our family, and not at the expense of somebody else.
yeah, yeah,
Not stealing from somebody or screwing somebody over to get one up on them. Having a pure heart
exactly.
and not and just taking what life gives you, and making the best of your hands. I feel like a lot of people are frustrated with the hands they were dealt. They have no patience, and they'll do anything, to get a
To get
shortcut,
ahead, yeah, to get a shortcut, yeah,
to try to get ahead on you, but
get rich quick schemes and all
yeah,
those different types of things.
exactly. Scamming people,
Yep.
all that dirty stuff, and those people aren't putting God first,
Yeah, no.
you know?
I mean, it's obvious, because I mean, we talked about that last. I brought it up last
Hmm.
episode, where there's around 613 commandments or laws from the
Yeah. Uh
Bible.
huh.
If we just followed those laws,
Hmm.
and like you said, follow God, a lot of what I just said is with loving each other, loving thy brother as loving thy neighbor as thyself, or whatever,
Hmm.
loving thy brother as thyself, same
Yeah.
situation. And following all the different commandments that are inside the Bible,
Hmm.
we would already do the things that we're talking about. We wouldn't think to shoot somebody or go to
Hmm.
war or do all these things. Like, I need to go here to siphon all this oil because I'm so worried about the survival of myself. Because they don't really care about the masses like that.
No.
They care as
100%.
much as they say, which is why there's so many people that are what you would say in olden times, peasants,
Mm-hmm.
because we're technically the peasants because
Yeah,
we're
100%.
having absolutely no power.
No.
And then all these random people that are in power, they're capable of pretty much doing whatever they want to, and they
Mm-hmm.
keep trying to get more and more and more, all that greed.
Yeah.
And so until we follow, because they wouldn't want to get one, like you said, one up on us all the time, and trying to make
Exactly.
sure that we stay down.
They want to keep their power,
Yeah, exactly. Who cares about power when eventually what's going to happen if we had too many people? Here's the thing that would happen if we had too many people that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now we're keeping, like, we're going, like, we're teeter-totter.
Right.
If we had too many people on the side of greed, evil, and other things like that, the human race would cease to exist.
Yeah, it'd be self-destruction.
It would
100%.
be we would wipe each other off the face of the planet, and then the planet would go on because there's other creatures that would live, but we wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't, because it all comes down to one person or whatever group of people not having enough. You know what I mean? And then eventually, let's say one group rises to power, that group is going to self-destruct because they're going to start turning on each other. You know what I mean? And that's the ultimate, destination of greed and envy. It's all destruction, So that's what I tell people all the time is like, being selfish really isn't the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got to be selfish to look out for me, this, that, and the third. No, because if everybody had that mindset, it's going to go to what you just said. It would be self-destruction because nobody would be looking out for each other.
Exactly.
There'd be no ecosystem of people working together, of give and take and bartering and things like that. No, one person wants to have control of everything. And then, okay, you're that one last person that's alive. You got everything in the world. But then what? You're eventually going to die. The human race goes with you. Done.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Now
like
cockroaches run the world.
Yeah, exactly. Cockroaches, and they evolve into whatever. I don't know. But
exactly.
Yeah, so that mindset is very destructive. And then also what I want to say to answer the question is I feel like, well, nowadays it's becoming a more even playing field with the internet and like social media. As far as like celebrities and people with wealth, back then, that stuff was kept secret in books and those were only circulating between certain people. But now with the internet, information is everywhere. Yes. So people are able to make a living and make a lot of money, so now it's becoming a little more even. I forgot where I was going with that. But, okay. So what I'm trying to say is now it's showing that if somebody else has done it, it's humanly possible. Mm-hmm. Where back in the day, we used to see people, celebrities, people in power. They're like, oh, well, they were born into that life, or, oh, they got lucky, or, oh, that's for them, not me. I could never do that, But no, if it is humanly possible, if somebody has done it, you can do it too.
Facts.
So
that's what I said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than being discouraged, you should be encouraged. Like, damn, that person came from nothing, came from this, and now he's doing that. Like, if I put my best foot forward, I could maybe accomplish great things too, So if somebody else has done it, the human potential is vast. It's great. I feel like we're just barely getting started. I don't know too much of the science of it, but I don't know if you know about the DNA strands, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm gonna get into a quick scientific tangent. Where the DNA strand, they say we only have 2 DNA strands, right? It creates that helix, has all of our coding, our genetic coding or whatever. So it's not really just 2 strands of DNA. We have 12 strands of DNA, but the other 10, as of now, scientists call it junk. And they don't even look to research into it because there's nothing there, so to speak. But, other scientists and other writings in the past, like, no, those strands of DNA, once you unlock them, like, human potential goes through the roof. Like, you become super smart, super athletic, fast, strong, things like that, because we're only working off of 2 strands of DNA when we really have 12. So can you imagine if we unlock the other 10 and the things that we'd really be capable of? So I feel like
I mean, just even the whole situation where we only use like what 10%
yeah,
of our
10%,
brain.
exactly. So I feel
Mhm.
like that would go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you unlock more of your DNA, you'll unlock more of your brain, and who knows what our potential could be. So that's what I'm trying to say is I feel like we're still like here when it comes to being humans. We feel like we're so advanced and this and that, but we only use 20% of our brain or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah.
We're only working off 2 strands of DNA when we really have 12. So who knows what the human potential could be. I feel like it's like something crazy that we've never seen or heard of before. But we just gotta work at it, put more research into it, try to unlock more parts of your brain, try different exercises, different things that you can do, because if somebody else has done it, you can do it too, and more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that just kind of stamps the fact that I was just talking about. If we were capable of focusing only on sciences that deal with math and health,
Mm-hmm.
and things that push the economic standpoint forward, the health standpoint forward, and
Mm-hmm.
the wealth standpoint forward, where we realize that there's enough resources on this planet to easily,
Which there is
yeah,
easily.
easily, because did you know that you can fit every single, I think I've said this before, you could fit every single person on the planet inside the state of Texas?
Yeah, I've said that before too.
Yeah.
That's something I've known for years. Like we try to say overpopulation, that's a myth, dude. Everybody can have their own house. Everybody in the world and everybody can fit inside the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
So, because you got to realize, how many times have you driven to another city, just another city, not even another state, another city,
Right.
and you just see nothing but openness,
Yeah, vast
vast
open, dry
openness,
land,
dry land that
nothing.
nobody is doing a damn thing on it?
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
could easily be built into something, but
Yeah,
we have a
easily.
situation where people are greedy, so they don't want to sell their land, or they don't want to use it for something good,
Mm-hmm.
so it just stays there, not being productive at all. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have mountains upon mountains of mountain that is not
Yeah.
being utilized at all. There's forests that are not being utilized at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe once we cut a tree down, we should replant the tree, and then it recycles itself.
Yep.
We will always have, wood and other things that we would need to build things, and the things that come from the dirt when we're trying to build cement and all these other types of situations. There's enough of it for us forever.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to stop being greedy
Yeah.
and stop trying to, because if we weren't greedy, one, we wouldn't overeat.
Yeah.
We wouldn't overeat. We would
Mm-hmm.
just eat in portions that doesn't mean that we wouldn't have nice little treats here and there,
Of course.
but we just don't need to be eating
Mm-hmm.
portions like crazy, because the United States is the most wasteful place, where
Mm-hmm.
we eat buy a freaking burger meal from Carl's Jr. and then
Mm-hmm.
throw away a portion of the fries and a
Yeah.
portion of the drink because we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
finish it.
Yeah.
And then somebody could have easily ate the rest of what you
Mm-hmm.
just had.
And then I just want to throw this out there just to add to that with the overeating thing. Yes, greed could be a part of it, but I also think that that's also a psychological thing. Why somebody will overeat even though their body doesn't need it, and they know that their body doesn't need it, but they eat it anyway. To me, that's a psychological thing as well.
Well, yeah. This whole thing is what I'm talking about. Is
Mm-hmm.
is again, it goes back to, if every single person followed the commandments
Mm-hmm.
and followed God's laws, all those thought processes would automatically fall into place. You wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
want to eat um bad, or want to
Exactly.
overeat or everything like that, because your mind would already be right,
Mm-hmm.
because you're following the word, you're
Yeah.
following the laws
Mm-hmm.
of the land.
Yeah.
But since we don't follow the laws of the land, that's why
We're
we're in
lost.
we're lost. That's why we're lost sheep. We're just randomly doing things, and then we still haven't turned off our animalistic
Yeah. No.
brain portion of
Mm-hmm.
our brain, because we still sit there and try to kill each other, and then talk
Mm-hmm.
about how we're overpopulating, when there's so many freaking things of land out there that we haven't even touched.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. No.
there's islands where there's literally pretty much nobody living on the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like, you can't convince me that we're overpopulated. That's a myth, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I think we both agree on the same thing. If it's humanly possible, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we also kind of agree where we're still early in our human evolution, you know, because we're still tapped into our animalistic mind from thousands of years ago, just going off survival and I got to do whatever I got to do to survive, you know, rather than being a more spiritual being and knowing that God is taking care of you and that you'll always have enough and that you'll always be okay. And people don't have that bond, I guess you can say, with God. So they're still operating with that animalistic mind. So, yeah. So who knows what we are really capable of once we can overcome that animalistic mind and really build that relationship with God and have that faith. I think that would really take the human race to another level.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say. I agree 100%.
Yeah, so that's what we say, guys. Be your best. Find your faith. God first. Like I said, I feel like we can't evolve. We can't reach our potential unless we put God first. That's where all the morals and everything comes from. You can still be a good person, you know, being atheist, etc. But I feel like you really won't meet your full potential unless you get that real spiritual faith in God. So is that it? We're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it up.
That's it, guys. So we just want to say thank you guys for tapping back in with us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know that you watch Just Do the Damn Thing podcast with Open Mind Group. We'll be back again next week. Until then, we're out.
Deuces.
OMG. Where we keep going because the party don't stop. We turn up, doing our thing, just living our lives, and we don't stop. Open Mind Group, so you know we won't flop.